Okay, let's talk swimming or anything in water. Cons, not too many to be honest. Um, Pool availability could potentially be an issue. So, do you have a public pool where you live, near where you live, and also times that the pool is open? Council pools especially tend to have lots of different things going on, so they split their times between when the pool is being used for clubs and activities. They may have sessions that are specifically women only sessions, children only sessions, fun times, lane disciplines, various things. So once they put all of those things in, the timetable can get a little bit cramped, and you can find that actually the pool isn't available as often as you might hope. So you may find that it's a little bit difficult trying to fit that in with your own schedule. So that can be an issue. Of course, you don't have to do it in a pool. You could do it outdoors. There are various outdoor facilities around the country that will help you to swim in sea, lakes, specially designed outdoor pools and things like that, where you can do that in a safe manner all year round in many cases. So that could be another option. Of course, you can swim in the sea. If you're going to do that, make sure that you take all necessary safety precautions, particularly if you're doing it alone. What else? It's one of those where you may feel self-conscious. You're typically going to be in your swimming costume, which leaves you quite exposed, and that can be a little bit daunting sometimes. So that could potentially put you off. If you're in the sea, you may be able to wear a little bit more clothes. Mostly if you're doing supervised outdoor swimming, they usually require you to wear a wetsuit or something similar. So you'll be a little bit more covered up, although wetsuits are not always terribly flattering. What else? Time. So due to the nature of, obviously, we'll have to get changed when we get there, or have our gear on underneath. When we come out, we've got to get that gear off, we've got to get back into our day wear, we've got to get the hair dry, so those things can take time, which can make it one of those things that then is perhaps less accessible to do, for example, in a lunch hour or before work. So that might limit the times that you can do swimming. If, like me, you wear glasses, that's not great for swimming, and depending on how bad your eyesight is, you may be able to just take your glasses off and swim without them on. If you're a bit more blind, you might find that a little bit more challenging or a little bit more unpleasant. If you wear contact lenses, it's not recommended to wear your lenses when swimming, because bacteria can get in under the lens and then it's trapped there sitting on your eye and can actually cause blindness. So contact lenses are not recommended, whether that's in swimming pools or outdoor sea, river, lake swimming or whatever. You can buy prescription goggles. I have a pair. They're relatively cheap. I think mine were £25-30, something like that. So that can be a good alternative and a good option. What else? It can be bad for your hair and for your skin, particularly if you're doing it a lot. So especially in pools where there's high chlorine content, that can be quite taxing on the hair and skin. If it's not very well sanitised, then there's risk of infections. So could get tummy bugs, could get skin reactions, rashes, things like that. Verrucas are a common thing as well in pools, aren't they, around the edges of pools. And children in particular are quite prone to ear infections when they're in water. I think probably most people with kids at some point, especially when they're on holiday and they're swimming a lot, will be familiar with the children getting ear infections at some point. It's an injury risk in a pool in particular. Floors are wet. If your balance or stability is not on point, then that could be a challenge just getting to the water. And once you get actually to the pool, getting in and out, you know, via the steps or whatever, can pose some risks there as well, some challenges, particularly if you're a little bit heavier, you know, getting in on those steps can be a little bit of a challenge. So those are some of the cons. But let's talk about pros. So as an exercise form, it's fantastic really. It's very low impact. Around about 90% of your body weight is actually supported in the water, making it effectively kind of low gravity. So it's great if you've got injuries and you're looking for some rehabilitation. It's good if you're suffering with chronic pain, because we're taking away all of the impact there. You may find that areas of your body or limbs, you've got a better range of movement because we've taken gravity out of the equation. For example, if you're lifting your arm up, as it comes up, it gets quite heavy as it goes up. And if that's under the water and it's not getting heavier, you may find that you can actually lift it up a little bit higher than you thought you could. So that can be a benefit. In terms of health and fitness, it's a brilliant full body workout, regardless of what stroke you're performing really. And obviously there is the option there to mix up your strokes and work muscles in different ways. But it will work pretty much every muscle in your body just to keep yourself afloat and keep yourself moving. It will improve your endurance and your cardiovascular health. It can help with fat loss due to the cardiovascular nature of it. It will help with your stamina. It's also been shown to help asthma sufferers as well because of the humid nature in swimming pools and the warm, humid air. Asthma sufferers have said that it can help to just open up their airways a little bit and make breathing a little bit easier. It can reduce your stress. So we've talked a few times now about vagus nerve, about stimulating our parasympathetic nervous system. Cold water is excellent for that. Obviously you can go to extremes and jump in ice buckets and do freezing cold showers and things like that. There's a guy named Wim Hof, I don't know if you've ever heard of him, who's famous for jumping into icy cold lakes and staying in them and stuff like that. It's very, very good for your parasympathetic nervous system. So you can reduce your stress levels through that. You don't sweat. Well, you do sweat, but you don't realise because you're in water and it washes it away. So if you're one of these people that sweats a lot, or you don't like the fact that you're sweating, you know, you think it looks unappealing, or maybe it smells or whatever, you won't notice in the pool, so you don't have to worry about that. It can be quite social. So, you know, especially if you're doing the lane swimming or whatever, there's lots of people will take a friend with them, and you know, you can swim side by side. And because it's quite although it's cardiovascular, it's quite low level cardiovascular. So most people, particularly if they're doing breaststroke or something like that, find it quite easy to actually talk and hold a conversation while they're swimming. So, you know, it's easier than running, for example, or cycling, to actually hold a conversation, make it a little bit more sociable. So those are pros. So would I recommend swimming, aqua aerobics, water sports in general? Absolutely, yes, brilliant. Very few negative or downsides to it. Lots and lots of positives. Yeah, definitely give that one a go.